Hey guys, welcome back for a really fun kitchen decorating video. I wanted to share some simple and affordable kitchen decorating ideas for your countertops and kitchen island and just show you how I go about decorating a space that needs to stay functional. So we are going to start out at Target today. If you've been around for a while, you know that I'm a Target addict. I just can't help it. They have some of the best stuff. And in my Target, right when you walk in, there's this Target Bullseye Playground. Everything in this area is $5 and under, and they have some great functional decor pieces for the kitchen right now. I loved this acrylic cake stand. It was a really large size and had a beautiful gold rim detail for only $5. And then they also had a ton of organizing bins. These acrylic stacking bins are such a steal. There's a couple of different types of them, but they do all stack on top of each other, and they were $5 a piece. That would be perfect for pantry organization. And a really cool detail for a coffee station are these glass jars with the cork lid. I thought the cork lid was so whimsical, and they were only $5 as well. But once I was done in the Bullseye Playground, I went on to the kitchen section. This is a really small section in my store, but they have a great variety of kitchen utensil crocks, canisters, and salt and pepper grinders. I love to look in this section for these kinds of necessary items to keep the space functional but not compromise the design aesthetic of your kitchen. So there really is something for everyone, no matter what your preference is. You could definitely find it here. I'm just showing a few of my favorites, but like I said, they have a ton of crocks, fruit baskets, canisters, anything you could need, you're going to find it in this section. But then moving on into the hearth and hand section, this is my favorite place to shop in my Target. Now, it is a very small section because I do have a small local Target, but they have a great selection still. I loved all of the linens that they had for this spring. They're just beautiful, subtle, soft colors. The quality is amazing, and everything here is under $10, so it's a great way to dress up those necessary items in your kitchen without breaking the bank. I also loved both of these cake stands. I like that they had a variety of different styles that you could choose from, and this berry bowl with the saucer, it was $20, but I think I might actually end up getting it for my kitchen because I loved it and would get so much use out of it. I also already own this mug holder. It is $20. It's made of acacia wood, and it's just so beautiful, as well as this recipe box. It's something that I feel like everybody could use, but it's just a nice way to incorporate a little bit of style into your space. They also have a great selection of risers and trays in the hearth and hand section, all kinds of materials, sizes, shapes, and all at affordable price points. This is one of my favorite things to do when styling a kitchen, is to group things on trays and kind of little stations or sections, so creating these little vignettes that look intentionally designed but still keep the space functional. And the last place that I like to look is in the faux greenery. I like to look for things that seem as though they could be herby or more whimsical kinds of plants that look like they would belong in a kitchen. I loved these ferns, and they had a really large variety of pots, some more rustic and organic looking, some more modern. There was such a great selection here, some really good finds, and I love to incorporate these on those trays just to add in a little pop of greenery and life into the space without overwhelming it or having too much going on. And I know faux greenery can be a little bit of a hot topic, so if you prefer real, definitely go to your local nursery, but I don't have a green thumb, so I like to look in this section of Target instead. Before we start decorating, I wanted to give you a little haul. So I grabbed this kitchen runner from Target. It's the Threshold brand. I want to say this was only like $22, but it's this woven material and pattern. I just thought that it would go along with the aesthetic of the overall space really well, so I grabbed this. Also, these two amber glass soap dispensers. This one is for foaming hand soap, and this one is for dish soap, but I just thought those would be really nice. The rest of this space, as far as like the living room and dining room, are really warm, so this adds some warmth in there and also complements the wood tones really nicely. I have this salt and pepper pinch pot. Brandy does a lot of cooking, and I thought this would be functional and beautiful. I also got this planter from Target, or a vase maybe it's supposed to be. I'm going to use it as a utensil crack though, to pull in the gold from the new faucet and all of the hardware and just kind of make that make sense in this space. We found this beautiful glass jar at HomeGoods, and I'm hoping to be able to use that somewhere because I just love it so much. They didn't previously have a paper towel holder, which was a little surprising to me, so I just picked up this one with the wood tone and the ceramic on the bottom. This was from the Hearth and Hand collection at Target. And then I have a few different plant options here. I found this one at HomeGoods, and then this one and this one at Target. I love the trailing leaves on this, so I hope that I can find somewhere to use it. And I love that this one kind of looks a little bit like an herb, which would be perfect. I also have a little ring dish to put next to the sink. I feel like this is a forgotten detail a lot of times, but it is so functional and also really cute. I have a few different trays here to choose from. So this marble one that is just gorgeous. There's a lot of marble accents throughout this entire house, so I thought this would pull that in, and I think I'm going to use this next to the kitchen sink. And then I found this white and brass tray at Target that I was thinking would be perfect for these pinch pots and an oil cruet and things like that to put right next to the stove. And then this big wooden riser. This is so gorgeous. We found it at HomeGoods, and I'm hoping to be able to use it right here on the kitchen island. And then we do have a couple of cutting boards too, just some mini ones, an acacia wood and a marble and wood one, again to pull in all of the marble tones around the entire home. So we have all of these new pieces here that we're going to be able to play around with, see how we might be able to incorporate them into all the things that Brandy already had, and just create some zones and stations around the kitchen that will allow it to be more functional but also beautiful. So now jumping into these specific kitchen decorating ideas. I mentioned this a little earlier, but one of my favorite ways to decorate in a kitchen, keep myself on track and not overwhelm the space with too much decor, is to use trays to create little vignettes that are purposeful and intentional and mostly have functional pieces on them. So right here next to the stove, I'm going to display any cooking utensils, any cutting boards or serving trays that you like to use, salt and pepper pinch pots, shakers, grinders, whatever you prefer. And then I just popped on this little greenery piece that kind of ties everything together. But for the most part, this is completely functional and necessary for this space, but keeping it from crowding over the countertops. And then moving on to a coffee station. So like I said, I like to work in little stations or vignettes that serve a purpose. So I feel like a coffee maker is a staple in most people's kitchens, and while they aren't necessarily very aesthetically pleasing or beautiful by themselves, you can dress them up by displaying any syrups or a glass canister with your coffee grounds or coffee pods in it, and it is such a simple addition to your coffee maker, but it keeps things on track, keeps everything contained, and from spilling over and completely taking over your counter space. Now moving on next to the kitchen sink. This is one of my favorite places to decorate. I feel like it's just so easy and simple to decorate next to the kitchen sink and make such a high impact. And my favorite way to make that impact is to decant my soaps into a set of hand washing and dishwashing soap jars. I chose these amber glass jars for this kitchen specifically because it is an open floor plan, and this pulls in some of the tones and colors from the dining room and the living room that are open with the kitchen space, and also hides those colorful soaps. So this is a great way to not restrict yourself in the types of products you can be buying, but still to create a cohesive look in your space. And don't get me wrong, I used to be one of those people people that was like, why would I take something out of its packaging just to put it in similar packaging? That's such a waste of money. But it really isn't, in my opinion, anymore. It does wonders to create a cohesive look throughout your space, but also I am someone who can get very overwhelmed by a lot of colors and clashing colors. So this just helps things to be cohesive, creates a neutral base, and then you can add in more intentional pops of color if you wish, while still keeping your space both calm and beautiful. Speaking of decanting your products into prettier packaging, I love these spice jars. If you are someone who likes to keep a spice rack or certain spices out on your counter that you might use frequently or consistently while cooking, this is a great way to do that. I love this gold spice rack that I found at Target. It just pulls in the gold accents from the hardware and the faucet in the kitchen, and then all of these beautiful spice jars just create a cohesive look, so it's not overwhelming and it's not visual clutter, but it still keeps things functional and accessible the way that you want them to be. I also love to use cookbooks to display next to a kitchen stove or on the countertops, and under counter lighting, I feel like this is a trend right now to put a lamp on your countertops, and it creates such an ambiance in the evenings when you are spending time in your kitchen cleaning up or cooking. It just makes things more enjoyable, more cozy, and it's such a great way to incorporate functional decor. So now that all of the countertops are decorated, I'm going to move on to the kitchen island. And this is a space that I went back and forth with a lot. I don't personally have a kitchen island, so I've never decorated one before. I knew I wanted to stay with that same theme of using a tray and creating a vignette. This way, if you ever need to, it's easy to remove all of the decor pieces, but I still wanted to keep it functional. So my friends Brandy and Jeremy host a lot, and I thought it would be great to use this beautiful glass canister to display some pretzels. In an open floor plan, I feel like the kitchen tends to be a gathering area where people just kind of collect in the heart of the home, and so I wanted to have something for any guests or family members to munch on, and I just paired that with a trailing greenery plant and a little candle. This was so beautiful. I love the way it turned out, but it was very, very simple and easy to create. I would highly recommend, if you have a large island in your home, definitely consider a vignette with little snacks and candies for your guests and family members to munch on. I also wanted to add a little bit more warmth into this space, so I chose this beautiful jute rug kitchen runner. This was so affordable at Target, but it creates just a soft space to stand when you are doing dishes, which, let's be real, we spend a lot of time in front of the sink and doing dishes, while also warming up the space and just bringing all of those same tones and textures down to the floor. And then my last idea for this kitchen, to keep it functional but still play off of that same aesthetic going on with everything else, I wanted to dress up this blank white wall that is right next to the pantry, which again, because it's an open floor plan, this is seen all the time. It's part of the kitchen. So I found this acrylic dry erase calendar. It had these little gold knobs to hang it up on the wall, and it was so simple but made such a high impact. It was cohesive with the rest of the space, and it added a level of functionality into this space that otherwise would have been lacking. You also could totally add some artwork or something like that, but I was wanting to keep everything intentional and functional while still being beautiful. So I thought this was a great idea. It doesn't call too much attention to itself, but it's just a little subtle hint of decor over to the side. But this is how everything in the kitchen turned out today. I hope that you enjoyed and are able to use some of these kitchen decorating ideas, keeping a functional, clear counter space while still having access to everything that you need and making it look as pretty as possible. I will leave links to everything that I can link down in the description box in case you saw something that you might want to get for yourself that works in your own space, your own kitchen, or that you might want to try out. But anyway, I hope that you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Thanks so much for choosing to spend your time with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.